sometimes people feel the fear takes them over completely, but it's like separating and standing back and talking to that anxious part, which is often a younger version of yourself that's stuck in time, and reminding them that they're safe, that they're okay, that they're connected, that they can breathe, that they're allowed to slow down. And I really love this work of nurturing that part of yourself.
Why do so many of us struggle in relationships? Clinical psychologist and author Phoebe Rogers joins me to unpack the hidden roots of relationship patterns, from shame and self-sacrifice to the fine line between support and codependency. We explore why awareness alone isn't enough, how to build safety and self-soothing into your life, and the role of inner child work in breaking free from old cycles. Phoebe also shares insights on ADHD, attachment, and navigating modern dating, offering practical tools to create healthier love and connection. Welcome to Move Your Mind, where we uncover why you are holding yourself back from getting the life you want and what to do about it, with the help from high-achieving guests and experts in behavioural science, personal development, and the health and wellness space. Join us if you're ready to move out of your own way toward your ideal self. I'm your host, nickbracks, and I've been working in the health and wellness space for the last 15 years, helping people find direction and gain the courage to take control of their life. My mission is simple: to help you learn everything that I wish I knew, so you can become your ideal self. Lacking guidance, I spent the majority of my youth feeling lost and disempowered, which led to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and substance abuse. Looking back, I didn't have the vocabulary to communicate what I was experiencing. And as a man, I didn't resonate with the emotional language used in traditional therapy. I didn't need to talk about my feelings. I needed tangible solutions to guide me toward building a life I was proud of. If you can relate, then this podcast is for you. In this episode, we discuss why so many of us struggle in relationships. If you're ready to take action and build a stronger mindset, then keep listening. Phoebe, so nice to meet you. Thank you for making the time to come on the podcast.
My pleasure. It's nice to meet you too.
So I'm just going to jump straight in here. Can you give just a bit of a background on yourself and the work you do, just so our listeners can learn a little bit more about you?
Yep. So I'm a clinical psychologist for about 15 years. And through that journey, I realized how much people were coming actually for help on their relationships. And it was always something I was struggling with. So in 2018, I went and studied couples therapy and family therapy for a year. And now I really focus on helping people find love, particularly women. And I know a lot of your audience is males too. But I think the work is quite similar. But I love helping people on anything relationship.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I guess like relationships are just so complicated. And
Yes.
it's just, there's so much that goes into it. I think it's just every relationship has complications. And I don't know, I guess the first thing that comes to mind for me to ask you is like, you're talking about helping people find love. Is a big part of that being able to be okay with yourself first to then be able to have a healthy relationship?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And not to perfectly love yourself either, because we all have days when we're not happy with ourselves. But I really talk about this capacity to soothe ourselves. I also should have mentioned I'm an author and I've got a book, and a big part of what I talk about in there is actually how do I soothe myself? How do I validate my own emotions and meet my own needs? Because if we can't do that, often we're clinging onto a relationship, we're idealizing a person. It puts a lot of pressure on them and us. So yes, that base of how do I take care of myself? It's really important.
It's so interesting. Yeah. And it's like, and even if I look at my current relationship, like we're, in a pretty good place. And when we met, I thought I had done so much work on myself and then so many things have come up. And then what we realized is my partner has a tendency in her life where she's always overcompensated and helped other people, but then has been scared to take, to do that for herself. And my pattern was the opposite, where I've always felt like I need help. And we fell into that. And then we've been able to have the communication to really identify it, try and change it. But it's amazing, even when you think we thought,
yes,
we've got such a, we're so comfortable in ourselves. This is great and great relationship. And then it sometimes can take time to see, oh, this might not be as sustainable, this pattern. And then navigating that is so hard to change once you're in that dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what you're talking about, predominantly I work with females, and females have been taught that loving is to give and to overextend themselves. And then we get tired and burnt out and resentful, but actually our partner, they're not necessarily asking for that from us. And then you're maybe copying some anger and frustration. And yeah, people can get off track pretty quickly, actually. And you're right. I was in therapy for years and thought I had it pretty figured out, but that's not the case. Even a healthy partner is going to trigger you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable and not good for either party, because if that gets established, like you're saying, it's not like you're necessarily seeking it out in the first place and then it becomes a pattern, but then it's even stopping from your end. Like I got conditioned to that, and then I'm not looking for trying to solve the problems myself, and then it actually is not good for either party in the long run. So it's like, it's very tricky, the sort of fine line, I think, between codependency and supporting each other.
Yeah, and you helping and guiding each other, that's normal and natural, but not taking responsibility for. And actually seeing your partner as an adult, they're perfectly capable and often don't need you to step in.
Yeah, that's
The
so
trusting
interesting.
in them. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So what is with the clients you work with, what's the biggest thing that sort of comes up that people struggle with?
Yeah. If I had to, whatever those patterns are, I think the root is often shame. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy of love. And because I'm not worthy, I have to do all of these things and prove that I'm helpful and useful and kind and patient and giving and overcompensate. But if you go back, what's underneath all of this is often shame. Like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And from that place, or we learn all these mechanisms to prove our worth, which end up exhausting us, and actually cementing those beliefs.
And where has the shame come from?
Yeah, so cliche but true, family of origin, and it's not necessarily what a parent intended or was their fault, but I think these messages happen in a very subtle way, actually. It might be that a family doesn't have a lot of emotional warmth. They don't talk about feelings. So someone learns that they have to achieve, they have to push themselves, and that's how they prove their worth. Or it might be just little comments about, I had a client yesterday about her appearance, when she's a teenager and she's still growing. And so when we're growing and developing, we just absorb all of these messages, and they kind of become the rules for the rest of our life, actually, in the view through which we see things and other people.
Yeah. And then I feel like even when you identify it and you become, much more self-aware, it's sort of half the battle, but then it's very hard to not keep falling back into it, even when you get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been listening to you, and I love what you've been saying. Like, people need direction, actually, and they need very specific advice. Often people come to me and they've been in therapy for years, and they're like, I know the stuff and I've talked it over and over and over, but what do I do? And so I love to work in that way. Actually, this is what you need to do. You need to stop the overcompensating. You need to notice when you're trying to prove yourself, or you're wearing this mask, or you're being pleasing. And can you just stop that and actually relax into yourself, and what's going to help you feel safe to be fully yourself and authentic? But people need direction. The awareness is not enough.
And you're so right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like, and the safety is such a big one, like you're saying there, because it's very hard if you can't work out how to create an environment where you feel safe, where you're calm, where you're grounded. It's almost impossible to do these things for yourself. I know in my life when I've gone through phases when things become chaotic, you're overwhelmed, it becomes so incredibly hard to even access the part of yourself of, you know, trying to, the self-development part of it, because you're just in problem-solving mode. You're just trying to survive. So
exactly. You're just at the whim of your emotions a lot of the time. So the tool I like to use to help people feel grounded and safe is, it's what you're saying actually, is to separate those parts of themselves. There's this adult, healthy you who has sought out growth, development, learning, can be self-compassionate, can be really kind to yourself, to take that part and to talk to the scared part actually. Like the scared part is not all of you. Sometimes people feel the fear takes them over completely, but it's like separating and standing back and talking to that anxious part, which is often a younger version of yourself that's stuck in time, and reminding them that they're safe, that they're okay, that they're connected, that they can breathe, that they're allowed to slow down. And I really love this work of nurturing that part of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. And I think it is in the mental health space, it's so common that people have that frustration you're talking about, like just feeling like, okay, great, I feel like intellectually I get it. What do I fucking do?
Correct.
You know, you can feel great, but then you don't know where to go. It's sort of, like you're saying, I talk about it a lot because, and I'm not a psychologist, and my company, Move Your Mind, a lot of it's all based on helping work with individuals to just empower them to do these holistic things. You know, how do I just actually start exercising each day, eating well, doing some of these basic things, getting my mindset in the right place? Because if we can't take that personal leadership for ourselves, we can have all the information in the world, but we're going to end up back in the same place.
Exactly. And I think sometimes people can just get too comfortable in that space of awareness. So it's really important that you have those very clear steps. And I'm sure a big part of your work is the accountability too, like someone to check in and are you on track and what's working and what's not working. But to simplify it, I think people can get very lost in all the things that they could possibly be doing. So try and strip it right back.
I think that's the biggest part, exactly like you said there, that accountability, because, you know, we can have the best information, but if we're not, it's hard to do it on your own. Like I think none of us can do like really long-term sustain anything completely by ourselves. It's like we all need support. And I think that's the tricky thing. A lot of people feel like, but I don't have access to the support. I don't have people supporting me. I don't have enough money to pay for a coach or this or that.
Exactly.
So it's like, can be very confusing. Where do I go to find that support?
Yeah, exactly. It's a big problem. I was listening to you this morning. I think having access to these resources is huge. And, you know, we're relatively lucky here in Australia. We have reasonable mental health support, but it's still not enough. And I think humans, you know, we feel weak if we need help, actually, but humans are meant to connect and be with other and be in group. That's how we survive. That's how we achieve. You don't have to do it on your own.
You don't have to, exactly. Yeah. Don't have to do it all by yourself. So what are some of the ways you try and empower your clients to, like you were saying, not just have the information, but actually what are some practical things you suggest to them to try and, put it in action?
If you're feeling stuck, you're not alone. Most people don't realize how connected your mental health is to your body. From your gut to your sleep, movement, food, mindset. Getting active each day can shift how you feel, build confidence, and transform your quality of life. At Move Your Mind, we guide you through this process step by step. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at nickbracks and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. If you find the show helpful, please share it with a friend and follow me on Instagram. It really helps.
Yep. So the first thing I will do, so I always want to understand, listen, your family of origin, what they taught you about relationships, emotions. That'll give me your kind of patterns in terms of relating. And then I use something called schema therapy because it helped me a lot. So schemas are about what are your beliefs that influence your relationship patterns and keep being perpetuated throughout your life cycle in all of your relationships. So we get really clear on those. Earlier, we were talking about things like self-sacrifice, unrelenting standards, perfectionism, fear of abandonment, fear of failure, shame. And so I go, what is the core of how you see yourself? And then from that, I give people the program. And so if it's shame, where are these beliefs coming up in your life? And how do I begin to shift those, actually? And I think the simplest way is a lot of these beliefs are your younger self. They're the child part of you, the wounded part. And so I help people identify that. And what does healthy adult you on a good day when you're around people that love you, how do you feel? What do you believe about yourself? And so I get people to really hold on to those beliefs. And then we set goals, and goals around relating in a different way. So if you love yourself and care about yourself, you would be comfortable with expressing your feelings, reaching out for help, letting that date know that you enjoyed their company and you'd like to see them again. So it's almost acting as if. And then if you've got that anxiety inside, how do you soothe yourself? And again, it's that self-talk. Adult wise you talks to the scared, anxious, younger human inside. So it's a big part is inner child work. We may do some imagery and visualization, and then we do some belief mindset work and set some goals. We might do some journaling as well, because I think people need to get the thoughts out of their head and take a step back. And then we might do things like look at a picture of their younger selves to remind them to check in, to be kind, to be compassionate. People have a much better time being compassionate when they're looking at their younger selves. I like to say it's like you're growing up this kid all over again, right? We know how it went. How do we do it differently? What are their kind of core needs? And so we're reprogramming all of that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, and I think that's great. Like my therapist has sort of the thing that really helped me. He talks about the like looking at a round table of the child version, the parent version, and the adult version. And that's helped me so dramatically, because whenever I've got heightened emotions, you can't think rationally. So I think, hang on, where's this coming from? Is this the adult, the grounded version of me, or is this the parent or the child? And it's crazy how much it's helped, where you can be like, okay, this is not rational. This is coming from the child version. Let's sit in this and wait till I can, and then always you get the answer comes when you just don't act on it straight away.
Exactly. Sit with it. I do that. It's interesting, isn't it? That's the therapeutic part that's helped you so much, actually. I'd had lots of different training, but until I found this work, nothing really stuck. And the parent voice is really interesting, actually. Sometimes it's pressured, it's demanding, it's critical, but it's not your true, caring self. Yeah.
Exactly. It's sort of
different energy.
The parent ones, I should do this.
Yes.
I need to do this. It's like not what do I actually want to do? Because then we have that fear of, what if I do the wrong thing? What if it doesn't work out? What if this happens? What if that? And it's so hard. And I think as humans, we're just so desperate
to have certainty or create a perceived
Yes.
version of certainty when we can't sort of accept that, look, whatever the hell we do, nothing's certain, nothing at all.
Exactly. And particularly people's reactions to us or their capacity to give us love in that moment. Yeah. And so if we can take that self-responsibility, I think we're a lot more empowered. It was really interesting as you were talking, I was hearing the adult you and then the child you came back, you know, what if, and I'm scared. and then, and the parent is often the shoulds, you know, you need to be this particular way in order to achieve. Yeah. But I think that's really good for listeners if they could catch that in themselves. It's incredibly powerful work, and it's not necessarily years of therapy either.
Exactly. It's just like you said, catching that and trying to not feel like you have to rationalize every thought that comes up, just being like, oh, okay, like I don't have to believe or buy into what my brain is telling me right now. It's okay.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's totally okay. Or, you know, that's interesting. I got that from mum or dad and that doesn't work for me anymore. Or it got me to a point, it's not working for me right now.
Yeah. What percentage of relationships are healthy, do you think, in general?
That's a really great question. And what is healthy? And I all think we have a different version of healthy. It makes me think of the attachment stuff, like how do we bond and connect? And I think the data is about 50% of us have a secure attachment style. So that's, we believe we're worthy of love. Other people feel safe and comforting. So we reach out to them. We've felt soothed and comforted by their presence. That's about 50% of us. And the other half, we've got the anxious or avoidant attachment. So we don't feel so safe connecting with others. But that can change and shift. And I mean, I've got variations of couples who come to me. I've got the couples who've been in a really rough place for a really long time and are on the brink. And then you've got the couples who need, you know, a handful of sessions to reset and they've gone through something stressful and they're good again. And then I've got a lot of couples. We were chatting earlier about ADHD. So I see a lot of neurodivergent couples where autism and ADHD is a big part of the picture. And again, that brings some complexity in terms of emotion regulation, in terms of differences in communication, different preferences for closeness and space. And what's helpful there is to have a bit of a language about it, actually.
And do normally... Oh, sorry, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like, the language is like, this is my neurotype, my brain style. This is not that I have a problem with you. Like, I just need space, right? We're different and that's okay.
Yeah. That can be, I mean, communication's everything. So it's like if you have different ways of communicating and you're both not understanding what the other person's saying, it can be just this perpetual situation, and it becomes toxic very quickly when that happens.
Yeah, and everyone's trying their best, but it's often misinterpreted. Like, a pretty common one is someone's need for order, structure, and predictability, and there's just a way to do things. And that can kind of, you know, take up a big part of the relationship, and then the other person might not feel heard or understood or that their needs matter, but it's just that the other person's struggling with anxiety. So just try and give people actually the language to understand what's happening. Yeah.
When you're talking about, you know, ADHD, neurodivergent people, do they normally attract someone that's also ADHD?
100%, 100%. I think a lot of my clients, they don't necessarily believe me. But yes, that would be way more common. I don't think I have a couple that I see where one person is autistic ADHD or autistic or ADHD, we hang out together. And there's something really beautiful about that. I think just on the same wavelength, it's really fascinating to me. Yeah. It's a small percentage of the population, actually. You know, it's like 3 to 5%, but somehow we're surrounded. Yeah.
And is it healthy, like that having that matchup?
Yeah, I think it's just about the understanding, right? And not comparing your relationship to a neurotypical relationship, actually. Like the way I've come to think about neurodivergence, so autism, ADHD, is a sensitivity. So a sensitivity to sensory things, a sensitivity to communication, a sensitivity to how someone is looking at you and, you know, reading the subtle signs of that. And that can be really painful, actually. And so it's just to be aware of those sensitivities. And I like to be very strengths-based, actually. I think these relationships can work very well. They can get in trouble because of sensitivity. But often the characteristics of loyalty, like passion, deeply feeling, caring, committed. So it's a beautiful space to work in.
Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, we were talking about ADHD beforehand. I got, diagnosed a couple of years ago, but my partner has ADHD, and she studied neuroscience and psychology and everything. And within probably the first, 2 months of us dating, 2 or 3 months, when she got to know me properly and was spending proper time, she basically said, "Look, if you don't, I'll be fucking shocked if you don't have ADHD. Like, you are fucking, like, you're more extreme than most people I've ever met." And
right.
I went and, did the test and found out I wasn't. It was the biggest relief for me because I've done so much work on myself, or had done so much work, but I was always like, something's not right though. Why am I like I feel itchy, like something's off. I couldn't sit and read, one document and just have the calmness, and ended up, getting medicated for it and learnt that. And it was just the biggest relief to be finally, oh my God, you find out there's there's a solution to this.
Yeah. What were your biggest struggles?
Oh, the biggest struggles were
restlessness. Yeah.
Yes. Restlessness, so compulsiveness, always like a serial, entrepreneur wanting to have 10 projects at once, just dopamine junkie, being like, I need, so I would get something going and then I could never complete a project. It's always like the next thing. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. I'm wanting to do this. I'm wanting to do that. I'm like, could sometimes not even finish a sentence, and, I'd just be, and also just like feeling, I don't know how to describe it, like this feeling of just like hyped. not grounded. You're just like, you're just like itchy, and still like have elements of it, but it's crazy how, if I look back, it's dramatic, the difference now. And
it's beautiful.
I just don't know. Yeah, because I remember my girlfriend describing it as like, she would be sitting in the apartment with me while I'm working, and she would just see me opening and closing tabs on the computer and hear basically heavy breathing, grunting, like just frustration all the time, and emotion. And just like in one day, the levels of, heightened emotions and how quickly they would change. It would change, 100 times a day, just up and down. So.
It does. I get that completely. And I think that bit is not talked about enough, the emotional part of ADHD. I was, my partner called me Grumpy Phoebe. I was Grumpy Phoebe all of the time, like agitated, irritated, frustrated, road ragey, which people don't see me as, but all this stuff was happening inside. So when I work with people, like whether it's the dating work or the couples work, I am now always looking out for it, because it can really erode relationships. The same for us. I think, thank goodness I got this diagnosis. I had a friend and a colleague who cared enough to push me and say, I see it. I was like, no, like, I'm so organized. She's like, yes, but you're tired all of the time. And I think it really helped our relationship hugely, because I was just, nitpicky and over controlling and needed things to be a certain way. So different in genders, across genders often. Yeah, but so important.
If you're feeling stuck, we get it. Most people don't realize how connected your mind is to your body. Sleep, gut health, food, exercise, it all matters. At Move Your Mind, we help you lose weight, build confidence, and reset your mindset in just 100 days. There's no extremes and no experience needed. We guide you to build simple habits and routines that will last for a lifetime. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at nickbracks and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. If you have any suggestions for new topics or guests, please send me a DM on Instagram at nickbracks.
Hugely important.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, it's like you look back and it's like I look back and think, how did I get anything done? I can't believe I actually did all these different things back then. And you're right, like it's like tired all the time, and the amount of mental energy just to regulate yourself every day. It's like,
yeah,
that feels like a full-time job in itself, just keeping yourself regulated, just trying to rationalize everything. It's crazy. It's it's like torture sometimes, when you're just stuck in that, and you don't know any different until you actually come out the other side.
You have no idea. People have no idea how tired they are. And you can't convince them until they try meds. And yeah. But it's a really important part of the relationship work I do. And in terms of choosing relationships, again, that dopamine seeking, I think, and again, I've heard you talk about that, like seeking certain things in a relationship and the thrill of the chase. And you don't actually know that's being driven by the low dopamine and the need for more. So it can keep you pretty stuck in these destructive patterns, actually.
Oh, and that was enormously problematic for me. I almost ruined this current relationship before it could begin, and I only had one serious relationship before that because, again, like I spent my early 20s coping with alcohol, one-night stands, people would want to get close to me and I'd push them away. Something good would present itself and I'd be like, okay, but what's the next thing? And as soon as I got to know someone, I'd be like looking for the fantasy of what the next thing is, and it was just never ending. Nothing was good enough.
Yes.
And I remember, when I met my current partner, I was like, okay, like this is all good. And, I really like this person, but I'm fighting, but what's next? And and just a feeling you can't even describe, but like just so damaging in what it does to the ability, I think, to be able to try and just be grounded enough to explore one person. Like it's
to sit with. And often that's the hardest thing, to sit with what's healthy and what's good for you, because it's actually so settling and calming. And then often your nervous system doesn't know what to do with that. Like, how do I just be still with this person and like connected? And it's kind of easy and it just happens, but I'm not used to that.
Exactly. That's what I was saying to my girlfriend at the beginning. This is too easy. How come?
Yes.
Hang on, I'm confused. I feel like this. I feel too calm. There's got to be, and I'm almost wanting more excitement. And I'm like, when we have a problem, we talk about it. And you understand me. You're not trying to tell me to be any. I feel accepted. I was very used to chasing women that were treating me badly or that were unavailable, and I sort of liked the feeling, I think, of that must mean I was looking at value based on how hard I'd have to work to get someone's attention. So then I thought, okay, if this, and it's all about my own self-esteem, but if she likes me for who I am, there must be something wrong with her then, because it's like such a
if it's
weird
too
thing
easy. If I'm not working hard here, like, this person isn't valuable or something's going on, and you question it. And you know, you're male and we're sitting here together and you're actually saying things that my female clients would often say to me too. Like, I
Interesting.
have to, you know, play a particular role and I have to put on the mask and I have to be the kind of, you know, bubbly and engaging and confident and but also cool and have no needs. And I have to work really hard because I put this guy on the pedestal, right? And he's really valuable. And so they keep just doing the same and doing the same. And so, yeah, often the work is like, just stop. Like, you don't have to do that. The person who is going to be good and safe for you, they're just going to meet you where you're at. And it's going to feel so different. And then part of the work is like, stay in it. And then they might get critical and nitpicky because he's not exciting enough. And it's like, no, like, you stay in it. You keep exploring. You get comfortable with, you know, how you're feeling right now. And then often they'll come back like 6 weeks later or whatever. And like, yeah, you were right. It was me. It's my stuff. Yes.
Exactly. It can be so hard to confront it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's the first step. And then from there, I think anything is possible. Like, once you're out of denial and you own your stuff, off you go.
Exactly. Then you can really have a chance to explore, is there
Yes.
something here, you know, like let's,
Yeah.
you know, we can at least give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So often, and then bringing this different part of ourselves to a relationship, which we often don't, like the part that has needs, that is emotional, is sensitive, that can say, hey, like, I really like you, but I'd like to hear from you a bit more. Just to put it out there. And what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you discover they're not for you. They're not on the same page.
Exactly.
But that can be freeing.
Yeah, either way, that's the thing. You can cut through the noise faster if you just both are able to be honest and, you know, like really say what you're feeling and thinking and not hold it all in and breed resentment and whatever else.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask, I'm just thinking, do you, in part of your coaching, you talk to your male clients about these things? Like, does it come into the work that you do, the relationship stuff, or I'm sure the self-image stuff?
Definitely comes up a little bit. I mean, again, I'm not like a psychologist or life coach, so really I do some of it, and then we've got, you know, different people that help coach, but it's really more about just trying to help people to create a routine for themselves, to show up for themselves, to you know, help them create a plan in their health and lifestyle and all that kind of thing. But definitely that stuff does come up a lot of the time, and I think I think I don't know, we're just not really taught to navigate this stuff. And I think the world now, I mean, this is what I was going to ask you as well. We live in a world now where everything, like with all the online dating, social media, how problematic is that? Because I feel like it's just breeding more of what I was describing before, where it's like, oh, I've gone, this person seems exciting. You know what? That actually went really well. But I'm going to write that person off because I've got this new, more exciting thing now. And how do you invest in one person when you're like swiping for the next?
It's really a great question. It is problematic. I think it breeds this, there's always a better option or there are more options. And I think sometimes as adults, you know, I was 40 this year. And I think part of me goes when I hit relationship troubles, like, oh, like maybe, you know, that small part thinks of leaving, or is this it? But then I'm like, it's just a moment and this is really good. And I'm a grown up now and we do the work and we talk. So from that, I'd really just encourage people to lean in and show up and do the work. But yeah, swipe culture is hugely problematic. But I often say and believe we bring ourselves and our stuff to that platform as we do in real life. Like, we can show up as a grown up with openness, honesty, respect. We can show our true selves. We can say exactly what we are seeking and looking for. Or we can hide and be flaky and not take it seriously and we can treat people as not people and objectify them. So there are lots of problems, but we can choose to bring our healthy self to the platform. I met my partner on an app close to 4 years ago. I have current clients who still use apps and it works really well. And I think it's because of a few reasons. They're very intentional, deliberate, they're specific, they're clear about their needs. It's not the only thing that's going to bring them happiness. It's not the only way that they're seeking a relationship. But they've done the work and they're doing the work. And I think you can meet a person online. It's still possible. It's really interesting, this online space. I could say lots about it. Yeah.
But I think you're right. You just need to be more intentional. I met my partner online as well, and we really connected
beautiful.
we just connected on that mental health side of things, and we're just talking, and it was kind of refreshing to be, connecting on just some mutual interest before really even meeting up and going into that, rather than it just being this transactional sort of conversation that you tend to have on a lot of the time on the apps. If you feel like you've lost control of your health, physically or mentally, Move Your Mind is here to help you. We guide you through weight loss, lifestyle change, and resetting your mindset without any extremes or overwhelm. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at nickbracks and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you for supporting the podcast. If you find this show helpful, please share it with a friend and follow me on Instagram. It really helps.
You do, and the old, hey, and, people just don't put in the effort or the curiosity and show the interest or the emojis to describe themselves. It's like, I don't know who you are. And so if anyone is listening and curious about using the apps, please show up as your full, complete self. Tell me something about you that deeply matters. Share your values, show different parts of yourself. It's totally possible. Yeah.
So important. Well, thank you for sharing all of this. It's super interesting, and I think it's something that we need to, as much education as possible in, because we don't get taught. Most of us just learn about relationships by falling flat on our face, making mistake after mistake, and
correct.
Hopefully you get it right at some point. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and that's why I dedicated my life to it, because it's something I really struggled with and I had to understand and figure out. But all my clients were coming for some version of relationship stuff, whether family, sibling, parents. Is this relationship good for me? And so I wanted to be able to answer all of those questions. But you're right, we're not showing it. Far from it.
Yeah, but it's so important that we can, learn that, because like you're saying there, it's really everything is relationships, business, family, friends, partner, everything. The sort of, whether it's good or bad, comes down to quality of relationships in pretty much anything we're doing.
Yeah, that's it. If that part of your life's not good, it can interfere with everything and how you show up. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so you said you've written a book and whatever else.
I have.
Can you tell me about the book? And also,
yes,
where can our listeners go if they want to find out more about you and buy the book?
Yeah. So I thought I have one here. So it's called When Will It Happen for Me? It's a shame-free guide to finding love on your own timeline. For I think all of us women in particular, it's like, got the clock. I've got to figure this out. But we all get there in our own time. So it's a bit of my story, and then it's how I went from, brokenhearted, calling off a wedding, starting over, finding my partner, the healing work that I did. It's got therapeutic exercises in there, so journaling prompts. So very direct. I'm really proud of it. Even though it's for women, I think anyone can get a lot out of this. Actually, I've had married women read it. I've had my publisher's partner read it, and he got lots out of it. So that's the book. And then best place to find me is on Instagram. I'm on there a lot at the relationship space.
Amazing. Okay, well, we'll have that in the show notes, so make sure to go and check that out. And congratulations on the book. I know that's like a big thing to put together. So it's, I'm sure
would know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to do another one for a little while. It's like a lot of work.
It's huge.
But rewarding thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, so that's amazing that you've done that, and all the work you're doing sounds amazing. So we finish every episode with 5 closing questions. These can be whatever answer comes to mind for you. The first one being, what's the best childhood memory that comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I love this question. I have 2. So one was Mum surprised my sister and I think I was, primary school little. She was like, we're going to Disneyland. I was like, that week or in a few days.
Amazing.
So, yeah, that was incredible. And then we had Santa visit our home. So again, we were like primary school age, and Santa turned up in this old green vehicle. It's like my mum's best friend's friend. And so Santa came to our house.
I love it. Disney World and Santa, you can't get much better as a kid.
I reckon. Yeah.
What would you say is currently the biggest burden on mental health in society?
I think financial stuff is really huge at the moment, and cost of living. I think people, they're stretching out their therapy sessions, so that puts pressure on the system. I was thinking about, in COVID, the government increased the funding for mental health to funding for 20 sessions for psychologists. Now it's back to 10. So I would love more access for people.
Yeah, it's such a big one. I think most people, I'd say 98% of people say social media, but I think what you just said, the financial part is huge, and financial stress is debilitating. It's like the mental health impacts are gigantic, and the world's just not affordable for most people anymore.
Yeah, it's really changed in the past few years. It started to become a conversation with clients more recently, like the past few years. How do we manage this? And I guess it's finding resources like this and, books and other guides. You can do a good amount of self-learning too. Yeah.
Totally. What would you say is your personal definition of happiness?
It's really good. I think happiness is really fleeting. In the moment, it's when I feel connected, actually. And so connected to family, connected to my dog and my partner. We're just in the moment. So I think being in the moment, but then it's also probably what's meaningful and what's purposeful. Not going to be happy all of the time, but are you living life in the way that you want to? That is meaningful.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing. If you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that be?
That it'll all work out okay, that you'll go on this beautiful journey of ups and downs, but you'll end up exactly where you're meant to be.
I love that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And final one, what are you most proud of?
I'm really proud of the relationship that we have. I'm really proud that I've done this work on myself, and I'm really proud that I can help other women and humans believe that it's possible, and that I've figured out the tools and the roadmap, if you like.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for making the time, for being, like I said, so open and sharing everything. And, congratulations again on the book. And I think the work you're doing is so important. So, keep doing it, and we'll have to chat again.
I would love to chat. It's been my pleasure too. I've been following you for a while, and the same, particularly as a male, I think to be so open and vulnerable is really needed and important.
Thank you, Phoebe Rogers, for joining me today and offering your insights. And thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and any suggestions for topics you'd like to hear about. Feel free to leave a comment or just send a DM. Your feedback is always appreciated. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram. It really makes a difference. Thank you so much.